Ru- the team from Russia obviously also have their some formidable players in their roster as well, like Mage, and their other three players also very respectable. You also have Kitty Cat and other two-digit globally ranked players. So they're not exactly pushovers. The reason they're in this situation in the losers bracket, like they had a like not so pleasant opponent in the round of 16. Like if you're a team in the lower end of the bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having to face, I believe it was Philippines, was it last week?
Yep.
And yeah, we just saw how strong Philippines are. So, I mean, understandably. And really, this only being a 16-team bracket, there is not a single team in this entire tournament after qualifiers that you can say is weak in any way.
There's a lot of respectable players in the entire roster. You could probably make a super team out of any combination of players, like from any random team here that is left in the bracket stage, which is saying something about the quality of the players that we've seen in this World Cup.
Now, here we have a little bit of an interesting situation with the picks and bans because I do believe both teams, not a massive amount of, kind of strengths or weaknesses. There's nothing that sticks out as a particular weakness for either team looking at the scores that they've both gotten so far last week and in the qualifiers. So it will really come down to the comfort of the players because, I mean, Russia, of course, they've got all four players actually playing quite a lot for them. They've been able to switch out their players between the Rice and the LN maps. Indonesia as well having quite a strong roster overall, so both teams should be able to do pretty decently on all these maps. It really just does come down to what they're least comfortable with, you would say, and it looks like Indonesia is going to be banning Gypsophila, Russian Federation going to be banning Major Violet.
So we might be seeing like similar to the previous match, like basically a split, like one team going to be leaning towards the noodly side of the pool, and then the other will be going for the Rice. So from how the pool has been set up after the bans, does mean that Indonesia might be the team that is going for that long note hybrid side of the pool, and Team Russia will be gunning for the Rice.
Yeah, that definitely does seem like it would be the case.
But then both teams do have players capable of playing the other, so there might be some. So the match obviously won't be as straightforward as just that. And we now will be seeing our first pick, which will be.
You're gonna see the hybrid once again as the first pick.
Shuno Hazama will be our first pick.
An interesting map that so far both the matches we've seen have had a hybrid being, well, the same hybrid being picked first. Usually the hybrids are something that don't particularly favor either team that strongly, so you would expect to more see them towards the end of matches, but we have seen this being the first pick of two different teams so far.
Yep. I mean, like Shuno Hazama isn't really the hardest hybrid pick between these three. Like I'd argue this is like one of the easier hybrid picks. Like, I mean, we've seen it from the previous match. Like, if you're more of an LN team, like this is probably the safest way to measure like how good are they at Rice. Like, are we would it be safe to maybe change things up, like in case that like they're not that good at Rice, so we could just go ham and maybe gun for that as well. Like it's a pretty interesting dynamic, so to speak.
Yeah, it does become really hard to wait. Are we on the? Is this the map that was picked? Did I bait myself into thinking they were picking hybrid? Oh no, it is hybrid. Okay,
It is on. Yeah.
Yep. It was just the wrong map being shown in the corner there. But no, here it is. It's definitely the hybrid being played. Yeah,
Yep.
it does
And
become
it has
very
the
interesting when we
it
have
has the
teams
MWC
that are
in it.
well-rounded.
So like just about these players on Tabikasi, I think that's like one of like a very familiar name to a lot of people. Also, the same goes for Mage, Imabuka, super respectable player as well. Like they have shown like decent form in the Philippines match, and of course there's Race, the other Indonesian player in like the quartet we're seeing here on stream. Like, oh my goodness, like I'm so excited to see how both of these teams are going to be performing, especially that they're fighting for their lives already in this tournament this early on. Like this is the second week of the tournament still.
Yeah, really high stakes, but you can't afford to lose here for either team. And as you said, these rosters are very strong for both of them. Antapakasi Rays have been playing most of the maps actually that we've seen so far for Indonesia. And of course, Mage playing a lot of these LN maps. And Timebuka, I believe, is been playing most of the Rice picks. So Russia definitely have this kind of roster that they can switch in and out different players depending on the individual hybrid.
Yeah, I think we're just seeing some stuff like making sure everything is ready for this first pick. We'll be starting in a few. And here we go.
Okay, we'll see just how comfortable Indonesia is on this one to be picking it first in the match.
Obviously, with these early Rice patterns, you'd expect like Russia having a bit of a higher accuracy on Tabikasi. Actually, just to note, 94 below S start.
That was a miss on one of the very first notes there for Antapakasi, so very shaky start, but that being said, it is a 4-minute long map just about, so the accuracy is what's going to be a little bit more important than a miss as early as that one. And if Antapakasi manages to bring up that accuracy, has a long time to do it, there is still the potential, but here, Timabuka from Russia is going to find the first kind of considerable miss here from either of the teams.
And Indonesia will be getting the lead immediately, especially with Mage now following up on that miss from Buka. Raze with carrying that 99.4, actually similar accuracies between Buka and Raze. Mage also carrying similar accuracies, just the combo advantage from Indonesia
Actually,
being the one
that
keeping them in the lead. Yeah.
They're all the same, 99.4. Actually, if anything, Russia is the one with a slightly higher accuracy right now, but definitely with 2 misses there, just the one really early one from Indonesia. It's going to mean that Indonesia's ahead by just a little bit.
Indonesia cannot afford getting a single miss though, because Russia is just within striking distance, even though the score gap graphic there is showing some considerable lead already from Indonesia. But again, you have to see those accuracies super similar. Antapakasi just pulling a bit ahead with that 99.5.
It is still just about one miss difference, I would say. Maybe Indonesia would still have a very slight advantage after one miss, but not really anything to write home about just yet. And of course, we are only halfway through. This is a long map.
And like the patterns do get a bit rough in this chart, as Raze getting a combo break. So no more full combos left in this lobby. But considering Antapakasi's very sizable combo and act, like Indonesia will still be maintaining that lead. Raze getting yet another drop before even reaching the 400 combo cap, so that might be helping Russia just a tad bit. But,
yeah, but Timebuka from
accuracy,
Russia, yeah, the accuracy's dipped quite a bit down to 99.1, and that's keeping the lead in Indonesia's side. Oh, 3 people missing right there. And Raze follows up. That's a full wipe for the entire scoreboard. We can just ignore all those, basically. They all trade each other. But at the end of the day, it is Indonesia with this accuracy lead. Mage with an unfortunate second. Oh, hang on a second.
Puka following up as well on that, on those staccato ends like that. This is a coordination section where like super easy to drop. So that does mean that Indonesia will be falling just a tad bit ahead. Going into the final section, like the final stream in this chart, Mage getting yet another drop in these Alan chords. And I think that might be Indonesia picking up their first point in this match. Well, just a bit more.
Definitely looking likely.
Yeah.
Ooh, all players are missing left and right now, but it is that accuracy advantage. That's the important factor right now. Both teams have missed a fair amount, but the accuracy is something that's much harder for Russia to come back from, as Mage and Timebuka, both of them, dropping down in the second half, but onto Bekasi and Raze managing to hold on these acts for much longer. Onto Bekasi, 99.4 at the end of that, despite 10 misses. Hang on, that would have been a single section that where most of those dropped. I don't think there were that many individual combo breaks.
Yeah, it's just that intro section practically. Like maybe like a miss or two from the rest of the chart. But yeah, that's a very impressive score, especially coming off a pretty rough start. But yeah, now it's going to be the Russian Federation team's turn to pick this time around, hoping to get their first point on the board as well.
Yeah, that was of course Indonesia's pick, so no harm done just yet. Of course, the first pick is something that you would expect the team to be most comfortable with. So now, of course, it is Russia's time. It is going to be Rice 2 for no reason is going to be the pick here. Another map, well, the first map that we haven't seen. Actually, I believe it was banned, was it, in the previous match?
Yeah, it was banned by PH against Japan, basing an R earlier. And this is, again, like the denser chord stream pick, so we're going to see a bit more brackets over Aratana Riketsui, the other chord stream pick. The other one is a bit more on the lighter side, basically just double stairs pretty much the entire chart. So a bit Russia trying to push like a bit more physicality into this match, maybe seeing if both of these Indonesian players are capable of playing these brackets. Hopefully getting their first point. Hopefully Russia getting their first point as well.
Yeah, that would be the goal here. And they have been quite solid on the Rice pick so far, so something that's probably within kind of their relative comfort zone out of this map pool.
Guys, while we're waiting for everything to continue, again, we're reminding everyone the OSU MANIA 7K World Cup 2023 team support banners are up on the OSU store. If you want to show which team you are supporting in this World Cup, please purchase those banners. Obviously, like the proceeds will also be, helping out on the prize pool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously,
so go
profile
check
swag
those
as
out.
Well.
Oh yeah, for sure. They will spice up your profile pretty nicely. Looks like we're seeing a swap for Russia. Karay's coming in instead of Mage. But Indonesia's looking like they're going to keep the same two players here.
It does appear everything is good to go, so we'll be seeing the second map of this match for no reason. Also, we have to note this is OD 8.5, so there's some accuracy factor here. So have to be super careful here. We're going to see onto Bekasi on the mirror mod. Kare is carrying the no fail mod. Just for the information, everyone, no fail does not have any score penalties on score V2.
Yep, so I mean, not a huge amount of reason not to bring it. But that said, if you are failing a map in Mania, it probably means that your score is not going to beat most other teams, to be fair. But either way, we're getting into this one. As you said, OD 8.5, very high. So it is very hard to maintain any kind of good accuracy on this.
Like, the other thing about this start as well, the introduction is like, there are some sections that are quite heavy for a single hand, and then it would switch to the other, and then basically go back and forth, and then going full on just playing on bracket streams. And it does appear that Team Indonesia will be carrying the better of the accuracies within these two teams, both carrying onto Picasso with a 99.85. My eyes are not failing, raised with a 99.6. Both Russian players carrying accuracies just above 99.1, in the mid 99.1.
Yeah, still 299s on the Russian side with the FCs as well. Holding up very strong, but onto Picasso, 99.8 still is holding on to this monstrous accuracy.
That is monsters indeed, as we see just a single 100 if my eyes don't fail me again. But dropping them just a tad bit, but like that lead, like it doesn't really matter until it won't really matter as it stands.
Yeah, all things considered, this is a fairly large accuracy lead, and Karei's actually finding a miss, the first miss of this map. And that's going to put Indonesia even further in the lead right now. They're going to have to hope and pray that Indonesia collapse sometime in the end of this map, but we're so close already. Indonesia just has to hold on for a little bit longer.
Just an eighth of the chart remaining. Just a short break right there, and then we'll be going back on these chord streams yet again. And Indonesia still continuing to pull ahead until the end of this chart, just taking it home. And there you go, Team Indonesia will be getting their second point on the board.
Yeah, 3 full combos here onto Picasso with the ratio difference, 272. Far in front of everyone else in the lobby in that regard, managing to get that 991k. Along with the double FC from Indonesia. That's going to earn them the first breakpoint of the match.
So we might be seeing one of the Olympics again from Indonesia. Probably now going for more of the Olympics here for Indonesia, probably. And there you go. We'll be seeing the Thai video LN3. The density LN pick of this pool.
Yeah, seeing the density one once again here. We'll see how this turns out for both teams. Of course, Indonesia is definitely a very strong LN team, so it makes sense for them to pick it. But Russia do have their LN players of their own.
LN density picks have proven being like practically the most popular of like the LN pick categories in general, like over the past tournaments. I mean, to be fair, it's like the most straightforward of them all. Like, not much shenanigans on finger independence or release timings. Like,
Yeah,
it is
they
just
tend to
full
be-
on physicality.
Yeah, the most comfortable, you would say, right? Requiring the less like technical skill. You can, I mean, sometimes you can play them kind of like Rice maps, but a little bit hard to do that in cases like this.
You still have to maintain the accuracy right there.
You know, comparing them to maps in the coordination category, definitely much trickier to try and play consistently those coordination picks. So makes sense why teams would opt to go for something they feel a little bit more comfortable with.
There is some matter of risk here. I mean, again, as you did mention, like you can play this something like Rice. So it might be possible that maybe Russia would have gotten a few runs on this chart as well. Like maybe hoping that they could score a point off of their opponents.
Yeah, that is always fair thing to consider, right? You know, if it is more comfortable for you, maybe it is also more comfortable for your opponent. Have to see here, Mage swapping in once again for Russia.
So substitutions from the Indonesian side. Russian player substitution does make sense. Buka kind of leaning more towards the rice E part of the pool. Mage going in for the LNs alongside Karays, which is a very strong pairing here. But like similar accuracies between these two teams in the intro of this chart. Onto Bikasi actually carrying 99.85 race, getting the first drop, but like scores are still fairly close.
It's fairly close, but that was a pretty big accuracy drop. Kind of tying with Karay's right now, Raze is. But yeah, it is the accuracy lead overall for Indonesia despite that drop. But oh, there's another drop from Raze.
Another drop.
Now that's going to cement a little bit of a lead for Russia right now, but we are still in the first half. There's still a lot of map to be played out. It's not a big lead, especially if Karay's misses right there.
Like the second half of this chart leans more towards like the density just becomes a bit harder. Like there's a bit more interlaced rice notes there. Mage getting a drop before even that drop hit. Before that B drop hits. So Indonesia will be grabbing the lead and will be stretching that, especially with Mage getting a few more drops.
Yeah, a lot of players struggling to maintain their comfort on density like this, but one player that is unaffected completely is Onto Bikasi right now. Karay's finding another drop. Onto Bikasi still the only full combo with 99.7. I'm trying my best to curse.
Well, hopefully no curses there because we're seeing a very impressive score there from Onto Bikasi. Raze and Karay's getting a mistrade.
Mistrades aren't going to do anything right now. Mage has recovered the combo really well towards the end. Very strong accuracies across the board, but it's just the slight differences, mostly with Onto Bikasi getting a really impressive full combo, the only one of that map. And oh my, like look at the accuracy, like the ratio from Onto Bikasi, just this level of comfort with these LNs.
Oh my gosh, only 11,200s. That is super impressive there from Onto Bikasi. Now Toby team rushes turn to pick, and hopefully like the more they let Indonesia take points, the lesser a chance of them even surviving and maybe putting up more of a fight.
We'll have to see. This is an important pick here for Russia. And oh, actually, they're going for hybrid. It's not going to be the rice pool that they're going for.
This is interesting. I mean, like, okay, this is definitely like the whack hybrid. I mean, this is more like colors from the last pool. A very short pick, like staggered releases, some ricey bursts.
And
I think Rush.
That could be a good call. Honestly, 1.5 minutes long. If we think back to the map that was just played, right? A couple early drops from Indonesia. And you can imagine, if the map ended halfway through that last map, then Russia would have been the ones in the lead.
Yep.
So perhaps banking on maybe Indonesia finding a couple of early drops in this map. And if Russia manages to hold the combo through it, that could be all they need to be able to win a point here.
Well, here we go with the fourth map in this match. We'll see if Russia's strategy changing things up will be giving them a point. We'll have to see though once the density starts to pick up. Does appear that Indonesia will be getting the lead. Mage getting a very massive drop there. Like remember, these staggered releases and mini rice bursts are not exactly the easiest to get some act on.
Yeah, these are absolutely brutal. Even on OD5, this is insane to try and act, and we do see the act lead definitely in Indonesia's favor right now. Still with the two full combos. Oh,
Raise.
That was a strange miss from Raze, but it is something that is much needed for Russia right now. And another miss. It's going to help them out a little bit more, but the problem still stands. Onto Bikasi's accuracy, 99.7.
There's still that one of those very wacky sections here. Mage getting yet another drop, so that's going to get Indonesia's lead ahead just a tad bit more. Again, this is a super short pick. It's about to end in a few seconds, and does appear that Indonesia will be picking up their 4th point.
Yeah, and they did get a couple of misses from Indonesia like they wanted, but unfortunately Russia weren't able to hold on to the combos themselves completely. Kare's with a very impressive full combo, but just no one on the Russian side managing to match onto Bikasi's accuracy. That's where the problems come from.
Wow, onto Bikasi's 200 count. That is impressive for a chart.
I mean, the
like
ratio
this
as well. That's like a 1-to-6, 1-to-7 ratio from onto Bikasi, which, I mean, this is not a map that, like, ratio should not be on your mind when you're playing this map.
At least like getting some basically full comboing the chart might be like the best priority you could have on this chart. But wow.
That's another breakpoint. 4-0 Indonesia in a really good position in this match so far, and they get the next pick. There's 2 LN maps up. There's 1 hybrid if they want to go for that, but I feel like LN is probably more of the safer option. Never mind. There are no rules when the teams are picking whatever they want.
I guess they're trying to like, it's a lighter chord stream. I guess they're like, once they saw what they're seeing from Russia's performances, maybe they're starting to get a bit more confident. Maybe just changing things up, like just showing like we don't need the LN picks or something like that. Who knows?
I mean, maybe just saying that Indonesia has the better accuracy, which they have been so far in this match. And, you know, if Indonesia have the better accuracy, then they might just be good to pick the maps they're most comfortable comboing, right? If Indonesia can pull off a full combo, then it will be extremely hard for Russia to be able to win a point.
We'll have to see if that theory holds. Buka will be going in for Kare's in this map. Still no substitutions from the Indonesian side. Hopefully my memory isn't failing me.
No, it has been onto Bikasi and Raze the entire match so far.
Also, like, speaking of just going a bit off tangent for a bit, like the artist's name, I think it took me a while to like figure out how the artist's name is read. Apparently, it's Roko Denashi from the notes
yeah.
I've had.
Okay, that kind of makes sense. Like the way that you know, Japan has like multiple ways of saying numbers.
Yep.
And unfortunate. Wait, hang on.
Onto Bikasi as well.
No,
That's weird.
Was it both of them, or was it only onto Bikasi? I think Buka's might have been just a client one. I think onto Bikasi's was the real one. Hard to say when the combos are going up this fast.
Yeah.
But either way, it is going to be a very small early ACK lead, it looks like, towards Indonesia, but not by a whole lot. Russia are very close here, although Mage drops a few 200s there on that pattern.
And actually dropping them to below 99.2 as well. Just scary. But is trying to pull it up just a tad bit. They're back at 99.2, but like the Indonesian accuracies, like you see at 99.7, 99.6. The only one, like Buka's the only one really keeping up with both Indonesian accuracies as it stands. Bikasi already at 99.8, if my eyes are not deceiving me. Mage continually recovering that accuracy though.
There's definitely 99.8 there. Mage, finding a drop there at the halfway point of the map. 99.1%. This is still a large, well, not that large accuracy lead for Indonesia, but it is an accuracy lead nonetheless. Buka for now is keeping up with Raze in terms of the accuracy and the full combo.
There's still quarter of the chart remaining. A few more of these chord streams remaining. Team Indonesia has to be careful and still maintain these. Buka and Raze dropping their combos, so no more full combos left in this lobby. Otobikasi still carrying that very big combo at 99.83% accuracy. Super impressive there from Otobikasi, as we've seen from them the entire match.
Oh my! You just reminded me. Yeah, this is a miss at the start of the map from Otobikasi, isn't it? With this accuracy,
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yup. Who knows? That might be a V1 double S without the miss.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Okay, 1 to 11. That ratio is. That is insane. That is just crazy to be getting that. And actually, Raze is not that far off as far as the ratio goes. This is some extreme act coming out from Indonesia on a map like this. This is exactly why they picked this instead of one of the LN picks. Although, it could have been pretty close. Russia's accuracy, honestly, I feel like if Russia didn't find those unfortunate misses, it would have been a very close score overall between the two teams.
They weren't really that far from them. Like, maybe in an alternate universe, there might be some changes. But anyways, Team Russia will be picking the Core Jack pick as a possible.
We've got like a left-right split.
Yeah.
On that map pool selection screen. The blue, all the blue maps are on the left, all the red maps are on the right.
That
Teams
is
are trying to connect 6 as fast as they can.
That's a very beautiful screen right there. Anyways, back to where we were.
Yeah, the Jack pick coming out here, the Chord Jack being picked by Russia. So they're the one picking into this. You would have to expect Russia have some kind of comfort on this in some way or another.
Well, I mean, we've seen Russia really carrying some accuracy as well. Like, they're not really that far from Indonesia. It's just a matter of like making sure they're consistent enough to even maintain it. Because like we've seen Otobikasi, we've seen Raze like just perform very well the entire match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even though Russia probably can't match up to Otobikasi's accuracy as we've seen throughout this match, they can definitely get close enough, especially in a pick like this. I feel like they can tie or even beat Raze, and that would turn it into kind of just like a one-miss game if Indonesia slip up at all. Russia will definitely be there to be able to take the lead. We'll have to see how this turns out.
You did mention misses, and this is that one chart. Since the core jacks are a bit more spread out, it's actually quite easy to get a few misses here.
Both teams out the gates. The ratio game is on point for all these players right now. Korea's actually dropping in accuracy a little bit, down to 99.6. That's going to give Indonesia the slight accuracy advantage for now. Buka actually holding his own against both Otobikasi and Raze, all three of them around that 99.9% range.
Raze dropping to that 99.4. Basically, the difference we've been seeing between these two teams.
Korea's actually hitting really early.
Yeah, that is extremely early there from Korea's. You don't really want to be hitting early in the core jack pick because like the 300s are like a very massive score penalty in a chart where accuracy matters the most. Otobikasi still, and Buka as well, carrying the only 99.9s in this multiplayer room. Raze kind of dropping up to 99.79. Oh wow, this is super impressive from both of these players on the upper half of the screen.
Yeah, this is some extreme ratio battles going on.
Was there a 200 from Buka's side though?
potentially. Oh, that's a miss. And that's basically going to decide it. It's at the very end of the map. Even a
And
miss.
Raise as well following that up.
Unfortunate double miss there from Russia. Indonesia manages to hold on to both of these full combos.
Time to see how many regular 300s Onta Bekasi has obtained, as Indonesia will be advancing to the next round.
102 and 148 for Buka. These are definitely ratios that exist. Some of the ratios of all time.
What is it, 20, basically, approximately?
Yeah,
one of the ratios
that's
of all
good.
time. Yeah,
But
they're very good at the game.
Congratulations to Indonesia, though. Definitely an extremely strong performance. Unfortunately for Russia, they are eliminated from the tournament here in the quarterfinals, but they did have a lot to show for themselves in this tournament. Even, I mean, making the top 16 in the first place is a massive achievement, given a lot of those teams that didn't qualify at all.
And it's the victors, Team Indonesia, who will be advancing to next weekend and hope to live another round